my vice. Men are from Mars, he tripping, I put that on guard. I got the digits, but I am not calling. Wizard at night, this be that forum. I'm just gonna stack with that. Sunshine after that. Just gonna stack with that. Sunshine after that. So yeah, you know, I had a conversation with her, but it's like the signals is always crossed. I mean, like, I say yes, cause she asked me to say yes. And then she's like, I didn't want you to say yes. I wanted you to understood that a yes was required to answer the question. I was like, what?
I don't get an applause. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to the spot, the Stacked After Hours spot. Welcome to the show for Grown Folks Talk. I am your host, Natalie Cosby, and welcome to our show. Tonight, we are talking about 50s and fine, her point of view. So we wanted to really honor the ladies of Stacked, especially women of our generation, Generation X, XX. And so we're going to kind of talk about what it means to be 50s and fine, from our self-care to our mental health to how the brothers are approaching us and what are we looking for in them. So we're going to talk a little bit about it. So y'all get ready, get those cocktails, because we want, and those fingertip soups, because we want to hear the questions and the comments from you. And here at SI, we keep it lit and enlightening. Let's bring the ladies into the room. All right, panel. Look at y'all. My 50s and fine crew. Thank you tonight for being on tonight. I think we are going to have so much fun. We've been trying to talk about, like, how do we want to talk about health and feeling good and looking good and what that means. And in this space of 2025, which has been a little bit of, I'm going to call it a clusterfuck, but there's been a whole lot going on. How are Black women maintaining us and maintaining our shine and make sure that we are delivering what we always want to deliver for ourselves so the world can understand who we are? First of all, I want to talk about the term 50s and fine, because I kind of stole that from Miss Ann. So I want to ask her, how did she coin the term 50s and fine? Where did that come from?
You know, I wasn't always excited about turning 50 because I've always been the youngest. So it's the youngest in my family, youngest of friends. And you turn 50 and you're like, I'm no longer the youngest. So when I had my 50th birthday party and I put up the pictures, I know it was very popular for people to say, oh, 50 and fabulous. And I'm so fabulous. And I looked at my professional photos and I was just like, 50's fine. I was like, that year was 50 fine. And then every continuous year, I just added that S and I was like, it's 50's fine. Like, that's what it is. Like, that's how I'm going into this. And I just embraced it after that.
That's a great point. Ladies, how did y'all feel when y'all turned 50? That's a major milestone for all women.
Yeah.
Kim, I know you just turned 50, but go ahead.
I did. I'm actually just shy of 51 in 1 week. But I had a big party. Yeah, definitely. The party, all of my friends, family who I wanted to see and that at that big milestone. I actually kind of really wanted to be 50 since I was 25 years old. I guess, yeah. I think I'm a little bit of an old soul in that way because being in my 20s, had big ideas, wanted to be big, bold, assertive, and it was no one paid attention to a 20-year-old. And so I was like, I can't wait until I get, grown. And I've always been the baby of the family. So it's like I want to get grown. And 50 was that age for me. So I like it.
That's interesting that you say nobody paid attention to the 20-year-olds. Honey, I think the 20-year-olds are the ones that always get the energy. But I love the fact that you couldn't wait to be 50. Maria, what about you? Turning 50, what did that feel like for you?
That was for me, that was fine. It was a celebration. It was 49 that kind of triggered me. Just like
Mhm.
turning 30 was fine, but 29 triggered me because it was like, okay, this is the end of this. This is the end of this. What ew, I'm gonna be no more a 20-year-old, I'm gonna be a 30. I'm no longer gonna be a 40-year-old, I'm gonna be a 50. But once I got to turn 49, I was like, oh, all right, you know what? 50 is gonna be all right because 50 is like a new start. It's gonna be awesome. And nobody thought I was that age anyway. So, when I did throw a party and I threw a big party, people were like, you sure you're 50? You sure you're 50? And I'm like, that's what my mama told me.
Mm.
So going into to 50 was I didn't trip. I didn't trip. I enjoyed it. And I
Enjoy.
planned out 50 things for the 50 for my 50th year. And I had a list and I checked things off the list for that whole year.
Okay.
I love it.
All right. So, Miss Anthea, yes, look at you looking all blonde, giving us blonde ambition. Can I call you Marilyn tonight? Because you channeling that.
That's actually my name. So
I
that's
know, I know. Uh-oh, we can't hear you, babe.
I did have anxiety about turning 50. I think my assumption was that once you go 50, you're gonna be old, washed up, thrown to the side, finished, done with, you're over with. Until 50 came and knocked me in the ass. And actually, I turned 50 during the pandemic. So it wasn't a time where I could have like a big celebration or anything like that. So everybody thought
Everybody felt what? Say that again.
they were going to die in the pandemic. So
Yeah, I turned 50 in the
just,
pandemic.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was a little
Mhm.
anxious for me. But
Yeah.
after getting over that hump and being here right now, it's one of the most empowering feeling that I've ever experienced in my entire life. I just feel like there is absolutely nothing that I can't do.
Yeah. I agree. I was excited about turning 50, but I had angst about turning 50 because I was just like, I haven't done all the things I was supposed to do before I was 50. So I'm looking at myself, I'm like, okay, what are the things like I really need to like get shit moving the way I want it to. But I think I was excited. I was like, it's another year. I feel great. I I think I look pretty okay. There were some things that I wanted to change, but I was just like, damn, like time goes by so damn fast. I think that was one of my things. It's just like it's so fast. And I was just like, what would my 50-year-old self tell my 20-something-year-old self right now? But it is what it is. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. I always want to when I think about us turning 50 now, and I think everybody on this panel is technically single or whatever. Like, as we start to maintain ourselves and as we take care of ourselves, what are some of the things that you do to just maintain yourself at this age? Like, what are some of the things you've done physically and actually emotionally that kind of help you at this point to feel the way you do?
Got rid of dead weight.
Mm. What does that mean, Maria? What kind of dead weight?
People. Dead weight in terms of people, whether it was a spouse, whether not a spouse because I haven't been married, but whether it was a partner, whether it was a friend who, and when I say friend, I don't mean like a friend with benefits. I mean somebody who you thought was a friend that really didn't mean you any goodwill. Whether it's a family member, that just drained all your freaking energy. It's like, I can't. At one point, you get to the point where you can't. Sometimes it takes some of us a long time to get there. But when we do, it's such a release. It's such a release. Even if
Mhm.
they try to come around, you just be like, "Yep, okay, I'm moving. You and your crap are not going to rattle my day, or my week, or my year, or my 50s."
Yeah, I agree with Maria, and sometimes they just eliminate themselves. You find once your positivity increase, once you start feeling much better about yourself, once you start drinking water and minding your business, the negativity just automatically leaves you. Like, to have the energy to kind of block someone or delete someone's number, that's a lot of energy. So once you remain positive, once you are so into yourself that you don't give a shit about what anybody says about you, because that's what 50 does to you. It makes you just know who you are. Don't give a shit about what people say. The negativity will just automatically leave you
Can I add
without
something?
even trying.
Can I add something to that? Because at each age, I remember at each age thinking I had felt that way, right? So when I turned 30, I felt, oh, yes, this is great. I feel this way. I don't care what people think. I'm moving. But you feel it at 30 one way, you feel it at 40 another way. When you feel it at 50, it's a new burst, right? And I'm curious to see what it feels like at 60. Because if each age, like each benchmark, let me use benchmark, each benchmark gave like a renewed or refreshed or a more empowered or a more intense perspective, building on the same. Shoot, imagine when we get to be 80 and 90. I mean, we don't give a fuck now. You know, we're not going to give a fuck then. And we can see it if we look at some of our elder parents,
Yeah.
aunts, uncles, whatever, and how they speak. They're like, I don't have to shut up because I lived to be this age, so I don't care. In a different way than we do at 50.
Is it about the journey of just self acceptance of who you are and like who you have become and the things that you desire for yourself? Whether it's like you said, drinking more water, Anthea, or embracing certain milestones. Is it really? I think that I always wonder, like the self acceptance that we have for ourselves and the narratives that people believe about us versus what is really true about us. And I wonder how that taking care, what does that taking care look like in your day to day? Kim, you're shaking your
I,
head.
yeah. Oh, sorry, Kim.
Go ahead, Ann. No, no.
No, I was gonna say for me, like 50 also coincided with so many other milestones in my life. Like it came in when I was getting divorced, with becoming an empty nester. So I just decided I cannot do things that do not bring me joy or that don't bring any value to my life.
Yep.
So it was a lot of change,
Mhm.
all pretty much at a very similar time, and it's still a lot of change right now. So I remember when a friend of mine and her husband passed away, and she went to see a therapist, and the therapist told her to find things that she did for herself that didn't involve her husband, didn't involve, things they did as a couple, just to really find things that brought her joy. And it's very similar to getting divorced. I had to figure out what were the things that I did before just for me that made me happy, before kids, before husband, that I enjoyed. So going back to the basic things that brought me happiness, and exercising, and hanging with some of my friends and doing things that I hadn't been doing because I was so focused on being a mom and getting my kids to college and doing all those things. So now I have that time to really focus on myself.
Yeah. Kim, you were agreeing.
Yeah, you asked what were the things that brought us to our 50s.
Mm.
You know, I think for me, my divorce was my rites of passage into my 50.
Girl.
Even though, and I love to say specifically with intention, and that's another thing that I have found in my 50s, that I'm a lot more intentional, and it's intentional because I feel like I figured myself out, and in figuring myself out, I figured life out. And in figuring life out is that I don't really know anything. And but like I've heard that before, but just like to really lean into showing up as a child, it makes me feel a lot more youthful. So that term rites of passage we often use for, children stepping into their, adulthood. But for me, when I got divorced and I was here in those co-parenting moments by myself when my children were with their dad, and it was like, whoa, who are you? And like lovingly and slowly getting like a relationship with myself again. I now I know it's like this confidence of, oh, I know what I want, I know what I don't want, I don't really care about this, I don't really care about that. And it's okay because I've gotten an opportunity to have a better relationship with myself. And it's not compartmentalized. It's every iteration of me in this moment and then getting to celebrate it. So it's not like, oh, that younger me, oh, that college me. It's all of me. I feel so whole in my 50s.
I love that. As we kind of talk about, this space of 50s, and I feel like we're very grounded in who we are as women. But I always say the funny thing is, it's just like, and this is something that is constantly, I don't know what to say, it's out there, right? Like it's a little bit of it's like you're 50, right? So right now, it's like, right now there's a societal pressure of like, how do you stay young? How do you look young? I mean, all of you guys are beautiful, beautiful women, but that societal pressure to look younger and make sure that you are attractive in a way that is appealing, even though we shake our head and be like, that shit doesn't matter. I feel like it's something that stands in the back of our head that's constantly like, I got to keep it fine. I got to keep it right and tight and those things. How do you deal with that pressure to look young and to feel young and to stay young, but especially looking young as beautiful as the beautiful women you are? And as you continue on that journey, when men ask you how old, or when somebody asks you how old are you, and we always say black doesn't crack, but when they realize we're 50, they be like, "Ow," you know what I'm saying? So it's like, how do we honestly deal with that? Because let me say this: my journey in getting up to 50, I had weight, I had all these other things that went with me, but I was like, okay, there's things I know I need to do and milestones I need to do to make sure that I still feel and look desirable for myself. So I always wonder what that looks like for you guys.
I'm glad you said for yourself, right? Because there is societal pressures to look good for society. It depends on who you're trying to look good for. Are you looking good for yourself, or are you looking good for society? And as long as you're fulfilling yourself and making yourself feel good, I feel I did have some insecurities about looking older, wrinkles here, there, my neck, my this, that, and the other. And the other day, I kind of looked at myself and realized, look, I'm getting older and I want to feel good, but I want to feel good for me. And if there's a bonus associated with other people seeing me looking good, then that's fine. I'm not saying that in no way I am bothered by the outside world, but I think I've paid too much attention over the years of what the outside world thinks. And once you start paying attention to that, it brings you down a lot. So I literally sometimes feel like I'm in my own world and I am doing half or 95% of the things for me to make
And
me
can I
feel
ask you
better
a
about
question?
me.
Because I love that you said that you. I think it's hard to admit that we do have insecurities that live in our
Mhm,
head about what, especially in being in social media, and people are
mhm.
constantly, we're critiquing, we're comparing. You get it, just so subconsciously that it becomes your conscious. You don't even realize it. So I wonder, like, what were some of the things, as and you anybody can share this, but what are some of the things for you that you felt like were weighing on you in that pressure? Like, because I feel like as women at 50, I know women who are watching this are probably being like, I still feel that. You know what I'm saying? I'm still dealing with that. So how do I get myself outside off my couch to start living in the world?
I mean, I think also there's a lot of pro-aging accounts right now too. And I follow like a lot of different like quote unquote like older pro-aging influencers. And it's such a big deal to have your hair gray. It's never bothered me. My hair has been like this since probably in my 30s. And I remember back then people were like, oh my God, your hair is so gray. And I was like, okay, but this is the way it grows. Like, this is my hair. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, did you dye your hair? Is it a trend? And it's on trend. So I just feel like that has been a sign for a lot of women that when I follow these pro aging accounts, that they make such a big deal of the day I decided to embrace and stop dyeing my hair, and we all should be so positive. And maybe that's why it's never bothered me, because I always knew I was going to be premature gray based on my family history and how my hair always grew. So all of that outside noise, I really feel like it doesn't bother me because I just don't pay attention. I've always just been my own person. My hair has been like this forever.
So
Yeah.
I can add a different perspective to that one, right? So I am gray now.
Mhm.
And it was really the pandemic that had me embrace the gray more. I started graying in my 30s, I think. My niece started graying since she was 14. And my father, growing up, I only remember him mostly gray with black patches in the back. And that's what I have, mostly gray, black patches all in the back. So, like, all
Mhm.
here is still how it
Mhm.
grew up. And I colored, and I and it wasn't because other people said something about my gray. It was because of how I internalized this whole process of aging, right? I was okay with some parts of it and not okay with other parts of it. And for me, the graying was one that I struggled with until I finally said, I let the roots grow in. And my sisters on the show, Anthony and Natalie, you two of you were part of helping me get to that process when we did our photo shoot, and you were like, you should put some gray, you should do something gray, get a gray ponytail, a gray something, slick it back. And I ended up doing braids and doing the gray extensions, and I loved it. And in that moment I said, what was I doing? I am done. And that's what it took, that moment to help me switch.
I'm a little bit different with the grays. So,
That's blonde ambition.
wait a second. Wait a second.
As Kim throws the hair. I was like, okay.
Definitely. I have a different look. I have a different story to tell.
Go ahead, Kim. Tell your story, girl.
Okay. Well, I I look at women with gray hair, people, especially, oh my God, a man with some salt and pepper. Oh, um, but I don't like it for myself, and I'm okay with that. I
Mhm.
I am wholeheartedly okay with that. Um, and I, in fact, even like um my natural hair, because this is not my natural hair, but my natural hair is dyed. It's not even, it's like a light blonde brown hair, like, and I just like color, and I like different colors, and I like to play with that. I had locks for like over 20 years, and then after I cut my locks, it was just like, God, I want to try all these styles, and I have two daughters and they do different styles, and it's just a fun way for me to express myself. It has been for many years, and yeah, I don't like it. I prefer I prefer other colors besides gray, just like I don't like blue on me. I think blue is pretty on other people, but I don't like blue on me. Maybe I may like that color one year, one day, but right now it's just not a color that I like.
It's funny to hear you say that. I was never a blue person until I let my hair go gray. And now I like blue on me better. But I want to say
Mhm.
something to Anne. You know, I remember when I met you, and I was in my brother introduced me to Anne and her now ex-husband, and we were at a party, and it was Barry's party out in SAG,
Mhm.
and you walked by, and I said to my brother, I said, "See, if my hair could gray like that, I would probably let it go." I said, "It's gorgeous." I said, "Is that hers? It looks like it's hers, like natural color."
Wow.
And
Mhm.
he said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, that's my boy Terrence and his wife Ann." And that's when he introduced me to you. And it was your hair that caught my attention. And it was just gorgeous. And I never
Thank you.
forgot how beautiful it looked, because I didn't see you for I think a few years after that. I ran
Mhm.
into you somewhere else down the line. We really hadn't connected that much at that point. But I thought it was striking, and that's kind of what stayed in my head as well.
Yeah, but everyone always says, "Oh, if my hair could look like that," but then they never let it grow. They never see what happens. And our hair does look very similar.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah.
And also I wanted to talk about insecurities. I
Mm.
personally, one of the practices that I do is called the art of selfing. And that's because I have been accountable to myself. And I deal with issues of worthiness along, in all kinds of ways. I deal with issues of worthiness. For me, looking at age and insecurities, it was like, aging insecurities don't belong in aging. Like, I wasn't walking around like super non insecure, like super confident, and then turn 50 and all of a sudden it's like, oh, the aging insecurities. No, I've had insecurities since my mother's womb,
Yeah.
um, perhaps, but just being a Black person in this society, you don't always feel safe. You always question yourself. You may not trust your gut. You build up discernment. You learn to say, I don't care. And that has been good enough for me. So I have translated the way I have resolved other insecurities in my life and been okay in my life the same way when I'm aging. If I'm in a room full of 20-year-olds or 30 or 40 or whatever, I would do the same thing if I'm in a room full of white people, white men, or in a room full of people, for whatever reason. And that's the beauty about being 50, is because I've learned so much. I don't waste time with what I don't know. I continue to lean in to what I know. And so it always becomes this like place of like, okay, I can get through this. This is not so bad. This is just like when I made it through that, or, the divorce or whatever.
Yeah, you know what, I love when we can speak to our insecurities, because I think it's a real thing that as people, and it's not saying that as you speak to them, you've overcome them and you embrace, like, I think it's just embracing all of you. And I think that's the beauty of 52. Like, you embrace the things that you may be a little bit uncertain about, that you're still constantly working on. Mine was my weight and other things, but in how I saw myself. But I was just like, you know what, that doesn't encompass all of me. There's so many other parts to me, but my mind was so pinpoint focused on that, because that was something that was always told to me, like, you could be a little bit smaller, you're almost there, such and such. What do you need to do? And you'll be, you'll be all of these things. And I was just like, you know what? Stop the noise. You're healthy, your numbers are good, such and such. And then once I stopped worrying about it, things started to shed with a little bit of little bit of help through using the GLP things. But and working out, I realized, like, there's so many narratives about us not being enough that it's like, fuck that. Like, you got to start claiming who you are and whatever
You
that
start feeling like that after you turn 50, Natalie, or
I think it's always been something that I have been trying to figure out. It really started probably when I was about 39, but it's been a continuing journey. And the reason why, and probably before that, because I think also when we'll get into relationships a little bit more, but even when the choices I made in the relationships I chose to be, that was something based on self-worth and how I saw myself. So when I think about and how I saw myself physically being enough and who's going to like me, and I want this, all the narratives that we have in our head. So, it's interesting how I see I love being 50, actually, because I think it has freed up so many narratives and stories I had about myself that just ain't true. Or it's no longer true because I no longer claim it. I always wonder, like, as y'all are in yourselves, right? Are always been. What do y'all love about your body and yourself at this point of 50 or now? Just like, what are you enjoying about you?
Menopause.
Yeah.
You mean menopause or the after part of menopause? Because
no periods, no cycle, no bleeding, stopping the blood.
I'm so jealous of y'all.
Blood. I want to have a vacation where I wear all white.
That's what we said. It's the white summer all year. Love that.
I'm not there yet. I'm so jealous.
Anthea, it's coming.
I can't wait. I'm so jealous of that. But Natalie, there's one question in the chat about vitamins that we use or swear by for graceful aging. And I wanted to just address Curly Sue quickly. For me, I am personally somebody that likes the elements of the earth. So water, direct sunlight, beach, sand. I don't typically go into the vitamin store and pick up like a vitamin to take, but I prefer the actual elements of the earth.
I agree.
I agree too. But I started recently taking some collagen, and this will be a plug for them. So if anybody's watching, you can make sure they get this. Maybe they'll send me some more samples or something. There's Black Girl Vitamins. I started taking their collagen in my tea, and I also they have a really good cholesterol supplement. And I'm saying it's really good in that I don't know how my numbers are being affected yet. I was taking some natural remedies, some red yeast rice and some things like that. And my numbers were moving, but not moving enough. I saw that this had some great reviews, so I started trying those. I can give you some feedback I go back in April to be tested. So I can let you know in April if they really work. But those are the two things that I started doing. And the collagen was more so for my joints. I will say I started taking going up and down the steps and feeling it in my knees, right? And the doctor said collagen, a holistic folks I talked to said collagen, but try to get this kind and that kind. So I tried a couple of different ones. This one is the one I like the best so far. And I will say I do see a difference.
So with taking that, what do you love about yourself after starting taking collagen and all these other supplements?
So one of the things that I love about myself and my body, but with or without the supplements, right? Because the supplements were more to help internal things versus external physical things. Is that it's not really failing me, that I'm still here, that it's still functioning well. And so while there may be still things that bother me, and I'll give you an example of that in a second, overall, I can't complain, because if my knees are just creaking a little bit, okay. There are people dropping dead left and right. There are people who, I've got folks who can't sit up straight that are my age. I've got folks who are cricking and cracking, because I could hear them cricking and cracking, and my body hasn't done that for me. All the abuse that it's had over the years, or neglect, let me say neglect, because well, it was probably abuse and neglect, right? So if you're not eating right, if you're not exercising right, that could be both. It's still not failing me, and I so appreciate that. So I lost some weight recently, because weight has always been an issue since I was 19. And I will say, when I was heavier, I had more of an ass. I have less of an ass now. Growing up, I didn't have much of an ass. And somebody said to me, "Oh, you lost your ass." And I said, "I really don't give a shit." Right? Yeah, I know. I said it was you. I didn't say it was you, but it was you. Right? But I don't care. I was so happy when I got it, not recognizing that it wasn't just my ass that was putting on weight, that all of me was putting on weight. That now, that's not as important. It's not important to me at all. Where it was before, they always say, the grass is always greener. So I come from a family, except for one sister, that all have very full bottoms, right, and very full chests.
So
And
do you love your butt, or do you not love your butt? Are you saying you love your butt?
I'm saying it is what it is, and I'm okay with it.
So you love yourself the way how it is right now.
Yeah, except and this is what I was saying. There are some things. So when I was in my 30s, my sister's mother, who at that time must have been in her 70s, pointed out something that I had noticed on myself. But I was like, oh, maybe I'm seeing things. I had lines right here. And when a 70-year-old says, "Oh, look, you got lines just like me," it's sometimes something you can't get out your head. So from the time I was in my 30s, I watched those lines and watched those lines and watched those lines and watched those lines and watched those lines, right? And so at some point, they were getting a little bit more deeper, even though everybody I said, "Oh my God, I could see those lines in that picture." They're like, "What lines?" And then I go point them out. They're like, "Oh yeah, I see them now, but I didn't notice it until you pointed them out." But that bothered me. So I
So
decided,
did you do something about the line?
that's what I was getting to. I decided to do something about it, because it bothered me, not because it bothered anybody else. It bothered me. And I don't regret getting my little tweak right here to do something about my lines.
Okay. All right.
So I had a alternative diet for the last 30 years. I haven't eaten red meat, pork, or poultry for the last 30 years. And then I go back and forth between, whether or not, if I'm gluten-free, pescatarian, vegan, vegetarian. I am currently taking lion mane's supplement, mainly because dementia and, those types of neurological illnesses run in my family. And so I was like, okay, let me start really focusing on the brain functioning and doing more things where I'm active from that brain and the mouth. And I'm, as there's that connection, as active as possible. And I also love my vitamin D drops in my smoothies. I also use other drops. Sometimes I just kind of like, oh, I like this. Let me try it. Nothing too consistent like the lion's mane. And
so what do you love? What do you love about Kim? Are you still naked yoga? Are you art of self? We're art of selfing. I'm sorry. Art of self. I'm sorry.
Yes.
What is art of selfing Kim love about Kim?
It's the physical or
physical.
Physical. I love. I have to say that my DNA from my mother, all of her parts that I have, her legs, her arms, her skin. I'm appreciating and I'm noticing it more and more and more. And it's just certain things that I know that I got from her. I got from my genes. I got from having melanin. That whole black don't crack. I hear it constantly, you know. And so I know that my peers, some of my peers, some of the people that I went to high school with, they look so much more older than me, and it is what it is. Oh, I also monthly I go to a chiropractor, acupuncture, and massage every month. I can't hear you,
Hear you,
baby.
Natalie.
I can't hear you.
Yeah,
Your mic is off. I would imagine her next question is for Anne. What do you like about yourself at this age? And if you're taking any supplements, how does that
I'm not taking any supplements. I think my concern is like vibrant aging. Just like Maria said, we have people we know in our lives that could be the same age, but look completely different or at different stages at different ages. So I do try to stay active. I go to the gym. And I do think that for me, I'm actually much happier now. Menopause has been a game changer. I nursed 2 kids. I went from, being filled with milk to my breasts being deflated because of nursing, and then you go through menopause and they fill back up again and they're full and I can go braless again. And it's just like I was always petite and small, but everything is like really back in place and I'm very happy about that. So Anthea, you'll see. It's just, I mean, I literally feel like I look and feel better than when I was like in my 40s with 2 small children, and not having time to focus on myself. I might not have been to the outside looking in world, oh, she's small, but I just feel like I'm more fit. Like everything's back in shape and I'm happier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even when I was practicing yoga all the time and I was naked on the internet all the time, I was very, very thin. Very thin. And I gained, like after my divorce, like I gained like maybe 20, 30 pounds, just like happy weight, just like heavy weight. And so I definitely understand that. I just feel comfortable now in my skin and my body.
Yeah. Anthea, I'm back. Anthea, what about you? What about Marilyn? What about Marilyn?
You know what? I pay such close attention to my skin. I am always with the different oils and all the Vaseline and everything. I don't know what it is, but I have to have soft, smooth skin. And I have some beautiful nipples too.
And there's that.
And I love them.
Nipples and ass.
Yeah. I love that. As I have been able to, I'm such a physical person. Like I love the physicality of movement and being able to just do things and be adventurous. So I appreciate I'm really understanding my body and its function and the things that it can do. And I'm kind of in this space where it's nothing that it really can't do. Even when I throw something out, I'll be like, "Oh, girl, you'll be right back. You just take a little such and such, and it'll be okay." But I am really enjoying because we always hear women at 50, oh, women can't ride bikes and bullshit like that, and we don't run and
oh yeah, we know who said that too.
Right. Not active.
He is Dr. Reggie. But I love the fact that I'm just exploring like movement and exercise and things that I've always been that, but what my body can do and just really like those possibilities, as a yoga teacher. But I'm just like, oh, okay, let's do this because I'm feeling great. And I've kind of, since weight has shedded, I feel like what I thought about myself has shedded. So it's like how
Mhm.
all those things are connected. It's mind, body, spirit, and soul. So
Mhm.
it helps you kind of be like, okay, let's do this. I think you get excited.
Mhm.
Um, so I think we actually have somebody in the queue, but I do before we start bringing people in because there are brothers who kind of want to talk to y'all about where you are and so on and so forth. As you think, and I kind of want to set this up, like how as y'all think about being single women and back on the market, like the societal standards of beauty, what you require for yourself, what is that? And what do you feel like when men see you? What are they expecting? But what do you think they're expecting? And what do you require at this point to have somebody even in your space as women of fine as women of 50? Let's put that on there. Fine as women at 50.
You want to know about what are we requiring of a man's physicality
What are they how are they presenting? What are they presenting to you? And what are you requiring? And
from
then
their physicality?
eat whatever comes to mind. It could be
Oh,
physicality, it could be mentally, whatever because everybody's different individually. And you are laughing because Ann got a whole damn list. I'm sure.
I thought, yeah, because we said this before. We said we know what Anne's gonna say.
Go ahead, Ann.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing because I feel like the men who we know who these men are, who are always on, oh, older women can't do this, or older women can't do that, or I want a younger women. I always say it comes down to the physical because the majority of men that reach out to me or that ask me out, they're under an assumption that I'm younger than I am. And that assumption is only based on looks because they expect women who are 50 or older to look a certain way physically. And all of these men that say, I'm talking about men our age,
Yes,
that
our
say they
peers.
want,
Yes, thank you, Ann.
that are peers, that
Yeah.
say they want a younger woman, all they're looking for is the physical. Okay, because mentally the younger women are not going to give them the same conversation, life experience, connection that we can give them. And that's what I found that really bothers me, that they're just it's everything is so focused on the physical, the looks. And for me, I'm like, looks fade. So it does bother me that the men are so focused on the way I look. And I always joke with people, I'm like, I just want to go on Love is Blind. I just want to talk to somebody that doesn't know what I look like because it taints the it taints the conversation. It taints the way they approach you. They say things that they think you want to hear. um, you look a certain way, honestly, it's like a blessing and a curse because they really, honestly, they come at you differently. And I had a guy, and I know he's listening, who said to me, I said, what's your type? He said, I want that woman that other men want. That's what
I
someone
think
said their
that's
type
all
was.
women, though.
So I like that's a turnoff to me.
But
It's
as
like,
simple as it sounds, I think most men are just about the looks and the more money
yeah,
they have, they don't care about you talking to them about life experiences. They
no,
just want a
that's all they
candy
care
apple on
about.
their arm.
And it's really disappointing because I feel there is so much focus on looks, and
Yeah.
it's crazy to me. And I honestly feel like I just feel like beauty is objective. People can disagree with that, but beauty is objective. That's why they're
Mhm.
models,
Mhm.
because these are people
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
the industry, there's a beauty standard that they say this is what's beautiful. Beauty is objective. And guess
And can
what?
I?
Wait, no, because you know what it is? Attraction is what's subjective. So
Yes.
you recognize who's beautiful and who's not beautiful. And as a man, just because you think I'm beautiful, it doesn't mean you're attracted to me, but you recognize that I'm meeting a standard and that you talking to me is feeding your ego. because you are getting something out of that. You're getting something out of me to help feed your ego. And that doesn't mean that you like me. It doesn't mean you're attracted to me. It means that you recognize that, oh, but other men like her. So, but she's giving me this attention and it's feeding your ego. And this really troublesome to me.
But I think, I honestly, as ladies, I think sometimes this is how a lot, I'm not gonna say all, but a lot of men are built. They're competitive. And I think once you start to understand that about them, unfortunately, that they want the things that women are highly sought after, or whatever that means. But Anthea, go ahead.
Devil's advocate, because none of us want to go around with a man saying, oh, he got a nice personality and he's ugly as hell. We too want a good looking man. Okay. So let's call a spade a spade.
We'll take medium ugly. I don't want anybody that looks better than me. I will go with the medium ugly.
Oh, really? Okay.
I've never been
not medium ugly, girl. Come on,
my turn.
Because I don't want anyone looking in the mirror being prettier than me. I had never had that, and I don't.
But nobody want to walk around. None of us want to walk around with a guy talking about, well, he got a nice personality.
I'm good with average. Average is good.
There's a difference. Medium ugly?
Yeah, average to medium ugly. Yeah.
Medium well.
There's a difference.
Yeah. Let me be the trophy.
And not ugly.
I think that's subjective too, because ugly for one person may be a jewel for another. Go ahead, Kim.
Yeah.
I definitely think beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But at this age, truth be told, from my perspective, physical appearance matters. Not just about how you look, but also your health.
Yes.
If you, as a 50, 55-year-old man, have a rum belly, you probably been drinking for a long time. That could affect your. No, don't laugh, because I'm
laughing at you. I just
I'm
not laughing at you, girl.
You could be having liver issues, kidney issues. I could fall in love with you 5 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
You got cirrhosis of the liver. You know what I mean? And all of that came out from that rum belly. And then there's other things. Dental hygiene.
Yes.
Very
Preach.
Oh, Anthony's language.
Preach, girl.
Either. I'm 50. I have braces. My braces just came off. You know, it's never too late. So if you're walking around and your teeth are like you're having some tooth decay, that can affect your health. And in 50, 56, 57, it can have fatal results, you know? So it, to me, it's not just, oh, he's cute, ooh, 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 like when I was in 20s. Your physical appearance matters. And when you look at me, best believe I am what I eat. Yeah. I am a reflection of my diet. I'm a reflection of how I care for myself. I'm a reflection of how I remove myself from toxic and traumatic situations, because I know better. And I want to see that in you. I don't want you to be looking all worried and like, I don't want your back to be, I want you to have a nice straight spine and chest up. So yeah.
Health is important. It is. Yeah, I had a guy reach out to me who had a triple bypass, and I jumped up and looked in the mirror like, what, like right. Really? Like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking?
I think we are assessing, are we about to, if I get into this relationship, am I going to be a nurse? Well, not even a nurse, but am I going to be a nurse? Like, we are assessing your health conditions and where you are. What are your numbers? What do I got to deal with? Am I going to be a caregiver and nurse ratchet?
Because then blood pressure medication has an adverse effect on the
teen, honey. Yes. So I think, so you know what, you know what? We're sitting up here talking about men. We're going to invite some of our stacked brothers into the room. I think we have Malik on one. You know what?
I think it's Malik and Dr. Reggie.
Oh, this
Reggie as well.
We can bring them in all at the same time.
We can only have one at a time.
We're going to start with Dr. Reggie because I think he's been here for a minute. Come on, Dr. Reggie.
And
he's been dying.
And his sleep time is about up.
Oh, Lord.
He's old, so by 10 o'clock he got to go to sleep.
DJ Earl, he's, oh, Lord. That's it. Okay.
Dr. Reggie
in?
Yes.
What's going on, ladies? How y'all doing?
How you doing,
Reggie?
Dr. Reggie? We see them shady ass comments in the daggone chat. What you trying to say?
You know what? It always goes back to the original comments. Sometimes you all have to really come to the conclusion that you're still kind of delusional in a lot of the things that you're requesting, especially when you think about men who are your age or older. Society tells us what our standard is. I think about this brother who was talking about like when men look at boys, we say, man, I remember I used to be able to do that. But when women look at younger girls and what they're wearing and how they're dressing, girl, I can wear that, I can wear that, I can dress like that. So you all kind of have a weird kind of way of kind of just perceiving yourself based off of some kind of delusional standards sometimes. It's just kind of interesting just hearing you all talk and stuff like that.
You're calling us delusional, Dr. Reggie.
Yeah, just kind of like I'm just, I caught a little bit of it, but it's kind of weird, but it's funny, it's entertaining. But at the end of the day, in large numbers, who's marrying, choosing you for marriage, rather than to just kind of lay up with, but who's actually choosing to invest, time in a woman who, may not be healthy, who may not take care of herself. Nobody's doing that. And the data and the statistics are showing that, a lot of women today are not going to get married. A lot of them are choosing to roommate with each other because of the fact that they, are not financially stable enough to, kind of retire the way that they thought they were going to retire. So a lot of them were having to kind of like roommate up with each other in their late ages. Whereas most younger women have the option, if they're younger, to kind of like look forward to, finding an older man, and an older man to find a younger woman who he can, kind of live out his life with. You all keep going back to thinking like you have to be with, like, this is weird.
Is he serious?
He's serious, girl.
I thought he was like a plant or something.
He's Reggie.
Like, it's all talking points, though. They're all like TikTok talking points. So I thought he was.
No. Listen. I don't. Okay, so I don't do that. I come from a place of like research, and when you look at the research and you look at the journals that are out here in sociology, it's telling you the story.
They always say that too.
I'm just saying it anecdotally.
Is
but
it at GBT you get your research from?
Okay. All right.
Dr. Reggie, I mean, the funny thing is like you always talk about how you do not date women in their 50s, even though I don't necessarily know the women that you said the women that you date are a little bit younger, correct? Correct.
That's my preference.
That is your preference. And why is that? Because Anne did speak to that. And is it just because she's a pretty face and she's more compliant? Or why is that?
It always goes back to my original, kind of statement. A lot of times you don't find women who are my age who want to be doing anything. They don't want to be outside. I came in about 8:45, and most of the time all you all talked about was like your physical appearance. No one talked about outside of you and the sister down at the bottom. You all are yoga people, but nobody else talked about anything physical that they do, like outside running, riding bikes, in the ocean, doing yoga. It's just all about putting on makeup and just kind of like.
Did I not say I go to the gym regularly?
And who were you listening to? Because not one person here talked about putting on makeup. Not one.
No, and there was no question about what we do physically to get, I mean, I think you're overreaching and making an assumption here, and I think you need to stop
I
at
am not
this
making an
point
assumption.
because you didn't even ask us what we do physically in order
Right.
to stay healthy. You just
Right.
heard two people talk about yoga, and your assumption is the rest of us put on lipsticks.
And
Don't do that,
statistically,
Dr. Reggie.
That's
And that's probably the reason why you're still
asked you
single.
all. You okay?
and statistically, 43% of Black women over 65 live alone, not shacking up with other
Right.
people because they can't afford to. So
So look at the next trends. Look at the current trends that are happening.
And
What's
where
that?
are you in that trend?
I mean, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 women here. And I think that we want to speak to what our real life,
Your experiences. Your experience.
Yeah.
And I get that.
right?
But
Wouldn't that
I-
be
I-
more
I- ma'am?
interesting? Because we can just fantasize and romanticize all day long. I know a lot of 20 and 30-year-old women, and they're disgusted by 50-year-old men. Probably like how you are saying 50-year-old men are disgusted by.
No, I didn't say
But-
50-year-old
but
men. I did
my
not say.
point, my
Are you
point
gonna let me
is
talk?
beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Are you
So
okay?
let's
Bible
talk
quoting.
to us and not around us.
Listen, so you generalize. You said that I said that all women are like that. I didn't say that. I said there are statistics to show that a lot of women aren't taking care of themselves at that age. It's almost like they're not competing anymore, and so they're asking men to take them as they are. And most men are saying, no, we don't have to do that because we can always date down. You all don't understand. You are where you are.
You
But men
said
can always listen. Men can always date down.
yes, you can, and you are more than welcome to.
date down, please.
And be
So,
happy.
down.
so we have more options, right?
And date down and be happy.
Seriously.
Damn will get you more.
Do that. Do that.
Love is love. Love is love.
Absolutely.
When
We ain't
everyone
mad at you.
is
Date
in
down and be
love, I'm
happy.
Yes. Yes.
So I
Do
agree
you.
with you. Find love however it comes, sir. Absolutely.
Yes.
I
Yes.
just think it's bold of you to come onto a show and just assume because we're over 50, we're not physical.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Or he could be overvaluing himself, because
Well, he's
you
always
all
done
know
that, but
you
outside of
guys
that,
laugh at me. You
There-
guys laugh at my standards, but at the same time, I don't know enough about Dr. Reggie to say, but I can probably say he probably doesn't meet my standards. So at the same time, he's dating younger women, but he probably doesn't meet my standard, so he's probably overvaluing himself like most men do. Most
Curly
men.
said it.
And
Yeah.
talking
Men
points.
have more
Like,
options.
Great talking
Mhm.
points.
Yeah, but younger women have no substance. I'm not gonna say
Right.
younger
No,
Mhm.
that's not the case at all the time. You all keep saying it. It's not the case all the time.
women,
Well,
but
somebody said that in the comments.
I've met some.
He was
some
reading a comment.
I met
I
some.
was reading the comments.
In that case, I met some outstanding, young sisters who really have it going on, and they can keep
So
competing.
why aren't you with them?
Huh?
Why aren't you with them?
Who's to say I'm not?
So how come it's okay for you to say, I'm not saying that. I've met some really younger women that are blah, 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 blah. But when we say, well, you came on and you just accused us. Well, no, I'm not saying that. But you are doing the same thing that you're accusing us of doing.
Do what?
Never.
Literally said the three of us put on makeup
It's called
and
a
go work out.
secular circular conversation. It goes nowhere.
Yeah.
That's in other words.
Y'all been drinking?
No, but I think you need more.
Water and berries.
Dr. Reggie.
Lab soda.
We all, you know what? You always give us a perspective.
Yeah, you all are like, okay, y'all own one tonight, but I'm just like, y'all,
He
you
has a position he
have
has
that,
to defend it. That's
but
it.
the other
Dr. Reggie is not about winning. I
He
think
has-
it's
No,
not about
nobody's-
winning, right?
nobody
think you
says it's
come-
about winning. I'm just saying that it's about being realistic. It's like there's no way in the world that I think I could go out and compete with a 35, 45-year-old male. Okay, I'm a 54-year-old black man. I know what I look like. My mirror tells me what I look like, but my doctor tells me differently. I'm healthy on the inside, but I'm not as physically able to do the things that I used to, like a 45 or a 35-year-old man. So I accept that. It's just a lot of times the standards that society says to you all is like you all can keep going and doing more. It's almost like the Lizzo effect. You all see how like Lizzo's getting herself together. She was running around and twerking with her big flat butt. You know what I'm saying? And then she finally realized that ain't gonna work. So she's got to do some things in order for herself to have some options in life. So she finally figured it out. Okay, she came to the reality that what she was doing is not really going to take her into the next stratosphere with all of her money, that nobody was choosing up on her. So she had to figure out how to do it a different way. That's what society to women, it tells you that there's only so far that you can go with that. So what else do you have?
So first of all, the theme of this show is 50s and fine, our point of view, right? So
Oh Lord.
Oh Lord, what?
Go ahead.
Oh Lord, what?
Come on.
I'm
Come
listening.
on. We got Dr. Reggie. Let's come on. Come on, Ree.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
So I have a question for Dr. Reggie. What is your point here? Is your point here to tell us that we're all delusional? We just need to go die because we're over 50? Is that what it is?
We gotta
Like,
go.
what is your point?
First. We gotta live together first and then die.
What is your point?
Just be happy with who you are.
We are.
We are.
I'm so happy.
That's what we just said.
That's the whole point of the conversation.
Okay.
It is. We are happy with who we are. I think you think we're trying to compete with younger women, and
we are not.
We are not.
No.
We haven't said anything about younger women.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't have to say it. It's like the
No.
undertone is that.
Dr. Reggie.
No,
now you may
no
think,
undertone.
hold on, time out. You may think we look 25 and 45, and that's
I don't think that. Trust me.
But that's okay because we look damn good. But
Yeah, you can tell yourself that.
Let's
So are you saying we
tell
don't?
yourself that, but put yourself next to a woman who's 35.
So why are you comparing us?
I have.
Wait.
that is so
I have.
relative.
I have.
I
Mhm.
do
The
a
whole
lot.
conversation.
Exactly. Mhm.
The whole conversation, even you said we should be happy with ourselves and feel good about ourselves. And we said we do. That is the point of this conversation and of the show. So then why would you come on and say, oh, you think you look good? Put yourself next to somebody who's 35. That's not what we're here doing. We know we're not 35. That is not a point of the conversation. The point is that we are embracing where we are, who we are, and what makes us feel good. And anything that contradicts that right now is unwelcome in this space.
That would be you, doctor. That would be you.
See, you know what? This is the weird thing. How you all just can completely just move the goalpost and started yelling and screaming.
No.
Actually, sounds like he just got off of social media.
Hold on.
How often are you on?
We just put you back on the football field so you can kick a field goal. So let's keep it moving.
All right.
Look, all I say is, yes. So I think the one thing that we, like I said, we're not trying to compete with younger women. We are actually here just celebrating where we are and where Black women are today. And I think the funny thing is, it's just like we really are just trying to share where we are at this point. But Dr. Reggie, I always appreciate your perspective because you know how to keep the conversation interesting, can I say?
And get the ratings up.
Thank you.
All right.
Dr. Reggie, soon.
We love you.
Take care.
Boy, bye.
We do love you, Dr. Reggie. Don't think that we don't.
We do, bye-bye.
We do, but we be like,
bye-bye.
Put them up. Next, I think we have Malik. Is that who we have now?
Hey, ladies.
He was
Hey,
not.
Malik.
Hey, Malik.
What's going on, ladies? How's everything? I'm good. I'm good. I mean, the one thing I was surprised y'all didn't say to Dr. Reggie, because I was listening, is that let's say you are competing with younger women, right? This is a rigged competition for y'all because y'all competing against people that are 25 and 30 that are getting BBLs, that are getting surgeries that you guys never had access to. So how are you going to compare somebody who is living naturally to someone who is carved up by a doctor? Like in my day when I was in my 20s, you never heard of girls getting BBLs and breast jobs and nose jobs and tummy tucks. Now that's the norm. So I don't even want a young girl because I'm getting half plastic, half metal, half silicone. I don't really find that, that's not my thing. Now, I mean, it looks nice. I will say that, some of the work comes out very well, but it's like, that's why sometimes when I hear older women, say certain things, I just look at them like, why are you even entertaining that? Because it's like a nonsense discussion. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. I just don't even understand why you ladies entertain that nonsense.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. First of all, I personally think it looks crazy when someone our age is trying to even think about competing with a younger person. It just doesn't come off natural to me. And doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I mean, because my thing is, I'm competing with any and everybody. I don't care about age. I mean, I don't care about age. Like if I want a girl and 5 guys are going at her, I don't care if the guys are from 25 to 85. Because at every age, you have different skill sets. You know what I mean? So when I was young, I might have used more charm. The older I get, maybe I have world culture that I'm throwing in the pot. When you were in your 20s, you might have relied more on your looks. Now maybe it's conversational, the fact that you cook or have other, you know what I mean? So it's like, the game always, it's like Michael Jordan wasn't dunking toward the end of his career, but he still was dropping 40 points a game. So, you just got to switch up. That's what I think.
Go ahead.
So for me, did I used to compete? Was I out there when I was in my 20s competing for a guy, and things like that? Absolutely. I think where I'm at in my evolution and my mindset is that there's what I want for me is for me, and it wants me as well. So I think that the competition that some men are talking about is a love of competition that they might feel. For me personally, I didn't enjoy that competition. I didn't enjoy, men coming into a room and then there's 10 women and we all are, trying to look good and making sure we have the nice clothes on, and I have a mini skirt on and I'm in shape and my nails are done and my hair done. And, I didn't enjoy that. So the idea that now I have evolved to a place that I feel good and confident in my life, and then I would go back, that would be me acting like I was 20 or 30 by competing, by not being in this mindset and realization that if I want a man, part of me wanting him, part of him turning me on is his desire for me as well.
Can I?
But it sounds like, and excuse me if I'm wrong, it sounds like you're saying you're just going to stand there and you're just going to attract everything to you.
No, it sounds like my man will want me the way I want him.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But are you throwing out any date at this age? Like what? How are you guys dating now? Are you this is the only reason I think why men tend to pick younger women, in my opinion.
Like my man,
younger women are very naive and easy to manipulate. Older women, you guys are you're more seasoned, you're more knowledgeable, you're not as easily impressed. You've seen a lot, you've done a lot. So I might take a young girl at STK, she's gonna pee on herself. You might have been at STK 10 times. So I think a lot of guys cop out with younger girls because it's easier. That's what I think.
True.
And that's why that wouldn't be my man.
So I also hate when men say, oh, you're doing this to compete with younger women, or you're going to the gym, or you're doing that. It's like, no, I know that's not my truth. Like, everything I do is for me. Like, I'm doing it for me. I'm not in competition with anyone.
Can I ask the ladies a real question? How important is desirability for you in terms of attraction and attracting a man?
On their end or our end?
Yeah.
For you guys to be desirable when you step out.
Ann said she wants an ugly guy, so she don't.
No,
I didn't say ugly.
Step out.
Let's not get crazy. Let's not get crazy, Molly.
You said medium. You said medium ugly.
Medium.
So,
medium. We're not going all the way down.
Medium.
They're not better looking than her.
That's
right.
You stepped out.
But why? I mean, why wouldn't you want to have Why wouldn't you want to have a partner that's as stunning as you? Why wouldn't you want to have that? So it could be two stunning people entering the room. Is there like
It's not
insecurity or
even
something
about
there?
no, it's not even about stunning. That's just I've never been attracted to that. I've never been like I want Boris Kojo. Like I've just been, just the regular guys are like, they're cool, I'm a personality person. So I don't always have to go for the person with the looks. I don't need my ego fed like these men. Like
And now,
I
are you
don't.
guys? This is what I want to know. Are you guys in the gym for
I'm
health
in the
reasons
gym.
or for
Yes.
aesthetic? No, I say, are you in the gym for health reasons or for aesthetics?
Both.
Or for,
Both.
Why can it be both? I think that's my
no,
question with the.
it can be both,
Go
but
ahead.
I'm just like at our age, we should be healthy. I'm not, like I look
But
how I
why
look. I've
does
been
it
looking
have
this
to
way
be?
my whole life.
So the
But why
aesthetic
does it have to be one or the other? Why can't it
Right.
be
And-
just both?
right, and the aesthetic doesn't have to be for somebody else. It could be to make me
Yeah.
feel better, for me to like how
Exactly.
I look to myself when I look in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, my biggest competitor was to stop competing with was my younger self.
Yeah.
I think when I got into my head that my younger self is part of who I am, that I always have that part of me with me, I don't really need to compete. I didn't when I got older, it was getting out of that framework, that mind frame of, oh, when I was younger, God, my hips didn't feel like this. I used to could do this yoga pose. I used to could do this, I used to could hang out and then go right to yoga class and it wouldn't be nothing, I could get up and spring up and it'd be no problem. It was a competition with myself, but in this moment, it wasn't that my body was bad or gone out of whack or didn't work. It worked differently. And learning that makes me a better human being and a better woman. And a better woman is, to me, more desirable to my man. My man.
Right.
Not everybody's man, not community dick, but my man. And my man is going to want the 51-year-old yoga teacher who was divorced. She has 4 children. 3 of them are adult. Like, we're going to match like that. And that's that's how I'll know he's my man and not community dick.
Go ahead, Anthea.
I mean, listen, you posted a video today which kind of spoke volume, and it's true. Like, we're at that age where the grandson and the granddad
You got that. You got
and
that
the daddy,
I think
all
we have
3
that video.
generations are attracted to us.
Play that
So,
video.
I mean, the Cougars are winning here. Don't sleep on the Cougars now.
Don't.
Mhm.
Montaigne, we got that video. Yes, I love this.
It's easy to look good when you're in your 20s, your 30s, maybe even in your 40s. But the real flex is pulling that off when you're in your 50s. But the dopest flex is when the 30s and the 40s are being compared to the 50 and 60-year-olds. Amen? But the dopest flex is when you can still pull in the granddaddy, the daddy, and the grandson.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
So,
Mhm.
And that's my truth. That's my truth. Malik,
Stop it. Get some help.
I hate Michael
Who
Jordan.
put that last part?
I don't know. I hate her.
That last part
It's
is like
true.
Reggie hating.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
hate her.
Yeah.
Damn Aquarians. Anyway, he said we're
still competing.
Oh.
Did Malik leave us? I think he did. Ladies, it's always interesting on, how do men perceive us at this age when we are in the dating market? And it's always interesting what they say.
It would have been good to hear, like, from the men, how do they perceive us? But I think Reggie gave us a full understanding of how
Yeah.
he perceived us. I don't know about Malik
Malik
or
did too.
whatever.
He kind of did. See, it kind of
Yes, he kind of did that. Yeah.
he dates younger because we know the game.
Keith West put a question.
Oh my gosh, that's so sad. For the sisterhood, that's so sad. You know that younger women are still being preyed upon.
Mm-hmm. Are they being preyed upon, or are they being they're being strategic too? I don't think they're being preyed upon. Like,
I think this generation of girls, I am very impressed with.
They are out there looking for the next billionaire. Like, screw the people that's their age. They want the money. So they are pretty much, they're the ones that's probably, the older men are probably the praise, not these young girls.
So I like Keith's question. He said, do you want to be bothered with a guy who was caught up with you being 50 plus versus 45? And there is that little,
what does that mean?
So I had that issue.
Yeah, when you hit 50, supposedly you're whatever goes down, whatever that myth is. But I feel like there is some kind of connotation in a man's mind, some men, around once you hit 50 versus being 45. I guess you're not 50 yet.
So I dated this guy, and I was 49. He said he was 40, but I think he was 39, about to be 40, because we were out on a date and the conversation came up and he had said something about, how old are you? And I said, 49. I said, I told you my birthday's the end of the month. So it was the beginning of December. And he said, oh, you mean you're going to be 49? I said, no, I'm 49, going to be 50. And his whole face dropped. And I said, well, why? How old are you? And he said, 40. I said, oh. I said, but your birthday's in December, so you're 40 going to be 41? And he said, no, I'm 39 going to be 40. I'm like, okay. But he was so traumatized because he kept bringing up the fact that I was going to be 50. He struggled with that. And we dated for 9 months. And in the end, he ended up just kind of fading to black. And when he had a conversation actually with one of my cousins, and my cousins, because my cousin's like, yo, dude, what happened? And my cousin came back to me like I had lied about my age. And he said, you didn't tell him how old you were? I'm like, what are you talking about? He said the issue was your age, that he didn't recognize how old you were. I said, we were clear and we had the conversation. And I said to my cousin, he came to my 50th birthday party. So that was in his head, not mine. So because of that experience, I would not be bothered with a guy who was then struggling with how old I am and carries that on, because I can't do that. I can't. Been there, done that.
Are guys out there asking people their age?
Yes, they are.
Yes,
they are.
Some are. Some are.
I think some of them, like when I remember when I was living in LA and somebody was just like, oh, you're older. Now at the time I was 34. Now, LA, you got to be super young. But they were like, oh, you're older, because I guess how I was speaking and what I was talking about made me appear a little bit older than, I guess, what the regular age range was in the demographics of the group. So I think when people hear you have a conversation with someone and you may, I don't know what looking 50 is, but this is what looking 50 is now. But if y'all are out and about in the world, are people thinking you're 50?
I say it all the time. I'm like the Saturday Night Live character. Mm-hmm. I'm 50.
Right.
50 years old. I love saying it.
Right.
So I tell everybody, you know what? I think I'm happier and being 50 and aging is because I'm not dating men. I'm not like that whole, if the prevailing ideology about women getting older is like Dr. Reginald, and if that's out there, I don't, not to pick on him, but just his rhetoric, just the rhetoric.
Yeah.
I literally, that's such a turn off that I would be happy hanging out, traveling with my family, my friends,
Living with the women he says statistically we live with.
Right.
Are y'all uncomfortable? I guess the question is, are you uncomfortable about disclosing your age at this point? Do you
No, I'm
guys
not.
tell people how old
Sometimes.
you said sometimes, Maria?
Yeah. So sometimes I just don't say. I'll just say 50s.
But you don't tell them where you are in your 50s.
No, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. You know, for me, it's there have been times where I said you're not supposed to ask a woman that question, because sometimes that makes people already make assumptions about you rather than get to know you. And then so there are times that I'm like, well, if you want to make assumptions about me, maybe I don't want to get to know you and I don't want you to get to know me. But sometimes you just want to have a conversation that's not barred with all the other bullshit. So with the weightedness of age or whatever. So sometimes I say, sometimes I don't.
I think it's only come up for me recently, like with other women. You know, like I said, I go to the gym. I'm, in different spaces, and I feel like I have no problem saying my age. I feel like my age makes other people uncomfortable. So it puts these other women that are asking me, they start to feel insecure about themselves.
Are they
And that
comparing themselves to you?
I'm like, it has nothing to do with me. It's a lot of, 90% is genetics, your body composition, your makeup, things that I have absolutely no control over. And I just remember recently, which is this past week, a woman in one of my Pilates class, she was like, "How old are you?" Because I was like, "Oh my God," I was sweating. I'm like, "It's so hot." And she was like, "No, it's not." And I'm like, "Yes, it is." And I was like, "Oh, I guess it's just the menopause. I'm so hot." And she was like, "Oh my God, how old are you?" And I told her. And she was like, "Well, then you must not have any kids." And I was like, "No, I have 2 children." She's like, "How old are they?" So it was bothering her. Like my age was bothering her. I didn't have a problem saying it, but in her mind, she starts to compare, and she wouldn't tell me her age. So I'm like, "You asked me." I'm like, "How old are you?" And she's just kind of like, So I was like, "Okay." But so it was clearly I have to assume she was younger than me. And she was bothered by the fact that, my size, my fitness, everything. And then she said to me, "Well, I just assumed that you dyed your hair because everybody, has their hair gray now." So I don't have a problem, but, I feel like it's the people that ask and they start to feel uncomfortable because of their own insecurities. And I nothing to do with me, but I'll say my age.
Yeah.
So do you guys go ahead?
I was going to say, I agree with you about their own insecurities, because even not just the women, though, because even that guy that I was referring to in the beginning, it was just about he was surprised. But as it went on, it was about his insecurities about where he was in his life and where he wanted to be. And then dating somebody who was further along, who had some of the things he wanted to have already. And that's how it kind of tied back to that.
Yeah, I like to say I like to drop my age, especially if I'm at my coworkers talking about how tired they are. Oh, they're back. Oh, they've been standing. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm 50 years old. Like, come on, we can do this, And so, yeah, it does. But I do find that once you get 50, kind of like what Maria said, as far as like that 50 versus the 40, everyone seems like they want to get to know 40s, 30s. You have so much. But the 50, once you get 50, you fall into these tropes. And that's one of the things that have been very difficult, and a standoff. It's caused me to stand off from dating, is because of the tropes. If you're a newly divorced woman, you're over 50, ooh, you're hot, you ready to get it on, you sex star. Then if you've never been married, you don't have any kids, you're over 50, you're bitter and angry, you hate younger women. Another trope with stereotypes. If you have your children, all you do is care about your kids. You don't care about anything else. If you're over 50 and you look like a mom, a soccer mom. And so we start to not see the over 50 woman. She's not visible in all the iterations of who she is. And they become we just fall into these tropes. And so it's like they see you, they put you in this box. They see you, they put you in this box without even communicating, without talking to you. Men over 50 have lived a whole host of life. They have stories to tell. So do we. How many jobs have you guys had? You know, how many friendships, how many trips you've been on? All of these things we have to contribute in a relationship. But once it's that 50, it's like, well, what kind of 50-year-old are you? I'm Kim. You got to get to know me.
I feel like we're in our golden age. And I mean truly golden. Like it is living your life as Jill Scott, like it's golden. And I think that's important. I think you need to understand as women, I always, and this is my last question to you guys, just like as you navigate the space of being single, my final question to you guys is like, how important is confidence versus physical versus the physicality or physical appearance when it comes to attraction for you? When you meet someone, what holds for you to keep your interest as beautiful women of 50 something and beyond as we get older? Go ahead. I'm gonna start with Anne because she's
you know, I'm laughing because there's just like a weighted question. There's just so much, but I think I've said it before on the show. Like, I really have to get to know the person. I don't even want to leave my house if if there's, because I'm home. I'm happy by myself in my space, doing what I want to do when I want to do it, and I have to really talk to you and get to know you as a person to even just leave the house. So we can't even get past. I can't even go outside the door.
okay. All right.
Yeah, I have to kind of agree with Anne. I think it's a both confidence and physical appearance. I already talked about physical appearance, what it also can mean, but confidence is very important. If you look at me and you're like, oh, you probably won't like me, or you probably won't think that I'm attractive, or you probably won't, have fun with a guy like me, or too much for me, you're right. You are absolutely correct. And go.
Carry on.
Carry on. So that's my philosophy at this point. Bring your confidence.
Maria.
Mm-hmm.
It's a combination. I'm on mute.
I got you. Sorry.
I think it's a combination of both, right? Because you have to have some confidence. I think anybody has to have confidence to approach somebody on some level. But I think the attractiveness, which could be a combination of the confidence, because I don't think I would find you attractive if there is no confidence. So confidence, how you present yourself, how you carry yourself. I'm going to say, I can see when Anne says medium ugly or fugly, or what was the word there was some term that
I used to see ugly sexy.
Yes, that's it exactly. And it's not necessarily that you're ugly. It's just that, you're not, you're
a little ugly that you're so goddamn sexy. You be like, goddamn.
Right. And you're not the poster boy. And with that, with the ugly sexy comes the confidence, right? There's a confidence in there. There's a swag. So
my cousin calls it the civil rights face.
Girl, I'm tolerant.
I have never heard that.
She was thinking the guy that's with what's her name? You know, the one that this
Jonathan May.
She calls him he is fine. That body with the civil rights face.
Is ugly sexy.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Look, I ain't mad at her.
Well, I think it's fine.
Yes.
The shower rates.
We have a dream.
Yes.
He be giving that ugly sexy while he's giving it to you. Lord have mercy. I'm sorry.
Woo! I'm getting a hot flash. That was hilarious.
that, but you ain't wrong, right? So there's that's all that is wrapped up in it. It's not one element that makes you attractive. It's all of that wrapped together.
Yeah, thank you. Son, Anthony, Marilyn. I'm sorry.
Great. I think of humor. You have to have some sense of humor with me because I love laughing and I love making people laugh. But the confidence for me is what's very much a turn on, and great conversation. I love when a conversation just flows and we can just laugh and kick it, or we could just be silent and just enjoy each other's company. As long as you make me feel safe, I'm gonna be, it's a turn on for me. What I would say though, and I have a few little isms here, so please forgive me. You can't be stepping to me with them old man sandal shoes. Like I can't. Like, don't do
Especially
that.
if they got socks in them, right?
Yeah, don't the shoes that's like a sandal but a shoes at the same time. Don't do that. And the shirt jack or the shacket or whatever you call it, that's not cool. Just don't do that. That to me, when I see a man in those things, they gave up on life. They're trying to die. They don't want to live no more. That's all I'm gonna say.
You know what? I say that is a black man's Birkenstocks. Can we act like
no, it's not.
Yeah,
and Crocs. If you have Crocs on,
it's a black
I love my Crocs.
If a man comes to you with white socks and Crocs, don't do that.
It's not even the
white socks in any sandal.
No, it's white socks and church shoes. White
socks in any shoe.
With church shoes and you got shorts on. Let's not do that.
White socks in any shoe.
Any shoe. This is 50. This is 50, and I love this. We are in our golden age and beyond, and I embrace every one of you guys. Y'all are beautiful. Y'all are fly. And gentlemen, this is what's on the market. So stop playing. Stop playing because you're playing yourselves. Let's get it, ladies, for 2025. Thank you guys
for the show.
Yes. Coming to the after party.
It's bedtime.
Girl, you got 5 minutes.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Go to the bathroom. We'll see you guys in a few. Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Ann. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Reed. Thank you, Sunshine, aka Marilyn Monroe. And we will see you soon. And next, we're doing the men next, so y'all get ready.
Dr. Reggie's on the panel. Y'all come with his questions for him.
Oh no, he is not.
Who said that?
Young women come and ask some questions.
Come ask some questions. You know what? We might have to have Dr. Reggie just for, but Lord,
we have to have a Dr. Reggie show with him only.
But all right.
I would love to see some 2-year-old ask him some questions.
Girl. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Nat. That was fun.
Have a good one, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Join Stacked After Hours, The Spot, where grown men and women gather to have candid, also honest discussions about the state of life, love, and more. The Spot is a hybrid of in-person and weekly virtual gatherings. Join our Facebook group and answer our daily questions. Subscribe to our YouTube for our weekly live talk shows and join us on Zoom for our talk show after parties for lively conversations with other opinionated, grown, and sexy professionals. Just search, like, follow, and subscribe to Stack After Hours on Facebook groups and YouTube. Also like and follow our brand pages at Be Stacked Wellness on Facebook and IG. So wherever you are, at home or abroad, pull out your laptop, tablet, or smartphone and join in the conversation with the members of Stacked After Hours. The Spot by Be Stacked Wellness. See you there.
As you know, and if you are new to the Stacked family, we always keep our conversations lit and enlightening.